6 o'clock, hello and welcome to the morning news here on 3FM 92.7. The news is also live on KESB 107.1 FM. I am Enyonam Haligah. Coming up this morning, security analyst Richard Kumado warns that deploying military in mining areas will only fuel more violence after the killing of an assemblyman in Mampuntum. Also, Consumer Protection Agency clarifies ECG's 225% tariff proposal, saying it is a long-term plan and not an immediate one-off hike.
So the 225%, as you said, is not specifically for the 1 quarter, but spread in about 4 or 5 years.
We have details of these and other stories. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Now to a first story. Security analyst Richard Kumado has warned that continued reliance on the military for internal security operations in mining areas will only fuel more violence. Reacting to the killing of Assemblyman for Abuabu Samuel Dankwa during clashes in the eastern region, in the Ashanti region, Mr. Kumado said leadership must rethink the heavy-handed approach and focus on lawful, accountable policing.
What is at all? You remember when the Ashanti Good incident happened? Our brother Perry gave a directive from government, and the directive was contains about 3 lines. 1, they should bury the dead. Number 2, they should cater for the injured in terms of medicine or their hospital bills. And number 3, the military who engage in the shooting out should be dealt with. After today, we haven't seen the report, and we don't know what has become of that particular investigation. But you remember when we spoke during that time, I made a point that to the extent that you keep on using military for corporate security exercises, these are some of the results you get. And you don't need a sincere prophet to tell you that once it's a legitimate own concession, and you have law enforcement officers, military in particular, as the key security officers for this concession, who have been tasked to maintain law and order and to ensure that the concession is not breached. Any personality in anything they see that looks like a breach or in contravention of the standard order, they will take action. And one of the action is to shoot and kill.
Security analyst Richard Kumado there. Now, the Consumer Protection Agency says the reported 225% tariff hike by the Electricity Company of Ghana is not an immediate one-off increase, but a projection spread over 4 to 5 years. The agency says the proposal from ECG, Gridco and other service providers are reviewed by technical expert before being submitted to the Public Utility Regulatory Commission for consideration. Nana Prempe is Executive Director in charge of arbitration and mediation at the Consumer Protection Agency.
So the 225%, as you said, is not specifically for the 1 quarter, but spread in about 4 or 5 years. But what we normally do is that when they bring these proposals, for the Consumer Protection Agency, we have a technical team that will send all these proposals to them. Some of them are former ECG officials, big men. Some of them are engineers, so that they also come to the table and give us the picture. When they give us the picture, we also submit our proposal to PRC. It's just like all other stakeholders. The API were there, ASEP were there, ASEP were there. All of them will also bring their proposals. We send it back to PRC, and then we sit down and come to equilibrium. So the 225% is not what is going to be.
That was Nana Prempa, who is Executive Director in charge of arbitration and mediation at the Consumer Protection Agency. Now, the Institute of Education Studies says ongoing disciplinary actions against teachers involved in examination malpractice are a step in the right direction. This comes after the GES announced that by the end of September 30, culprits identified through investigation could face dismissal. Executive Director Peter Patti Anti stressed that school owners found complicit should also be sanctioned.
it's a step in the right direction. Advocacy that we've been doing, ensuring that certain acts by various agents are brought to book, it's yielding the needed result. Yeah, if they are not complicit, then the first call depends on them. Because at the end of the day, it's your school that is being used, the name of your school that is being used to undertake all these illegalities and malpractices. So you should be the first point of call when you observe or when you see all these things. I think that aside the fact that these students, these teachers or GES employees are being held accountable, I think we can take a step further and deal with school owners too, who are complicit in this direction. And in doing that, we might have to bring in NASIA, the school inspectorate body, to also let out some punishment to these people, to these schools, and through their managers or proprietors.
Executive Director for the Institute of Education Studies, Peter Party Anti there. Now, to some not so great news, a fire that gutted a Chinese warehouse in Lasebiokoshi vicinity near Radio Gold in Accra has destroyed numerous properties. The Ghana National Fire Service confirmed that the fire started before 7 p.m. last night. Our reporter, Stanley Blair, was at the scene and has details.
I must say that the Ghana National Fire Service have had to actually fight one of the toughest domestic fires the whole of the year. Because they are fighting an inferno which was caused by all that involved a lot of combustible. So, for instance, when I got here, this fire started around 5-6 thereabout p.m. So they came in quickly, they were deployed and they came in and they started fighting the fire. But I must also say that because there is a warehouse belonging to a Chinese nationals, they have their warehouse here. So the warehouse, they keep in school bags, leather materials, and then sandals or footwear. So a lot of combustible materials are kept in this warehouse. And as I speak, this warehouse has been actually raised down, and then a lot of the combustibles are also blazing at the moment. The fire has also extended to some domestic apartments that share compound with the warehouse. As I speak, a lot of personnel from the Ghana National Fire Service have been deployed to the scene. I've seen a lot of fire tenders.
My colleague Stanley Blair with that report. Now, finally, before we go, the Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment, George Opariado, says despite the delays and challenges, this year's national service will go ahead as planned and no students will be left behind. He says the government is working around the clock to resolve the challenges and urge prospective service personnel to remain calm.
Prospective National Service personnel for the 2025-2026 year have been expressing frustration over the challenges on portal accessibility. The challenge began after the President ordered a technical and forensic review of the data platform that manages postings, leading to the suspension of the system. Sector Minister George Opariado admits that progress on placement and related arrangement have so far been minimal.
We've not done much in respect to postings for this year because just when the app was opened, His Excellency instructed that we suspend it and do some further investigations into the app. As I speak to you, the app is still closed. We've not opened it because we are in the process of procuring a new platform for postings to be done on, and so only about a small fraction of people got the opportunity of initially registering on the app, and so we are yet to do anything significant in that respect.
He urged students to remain calm and patient as management works behind the scenes to build a more reliable system. According to him, government is determined to do things right to avoid another scandal.
I'll only urge students to be a bit more patient. We want to assure them that their service is not going to be disrupted. The board and then the new management is working to see to it that a new app is developed and deployed so that we don't have the kind of problems and challenges that we had previously. If it must be done, it must be done well.
While acknowledging the delays, the minister maintained that based on the timelines provided by his team, he does not expect any postponement in the national service calendar.
They will do their service this year. It will not be delayed. If you look at the law, service period should usually start from October and then end in August. But you must do a minimum of about 7 or 8 months to be qualified for the certificate, and so it will be done.
Touching on the new leadership of the authority following the reassignment of Felix Jemfi, George Operado noted that he expects the new Director General, Ruth Della Sedo, to lead the transformation agenda of the National Service Authority.
To lead the service to become a world-class organization, to make sure that it is not fraught with any corruption allegations and all the challenges that had bedeviled the national service do not happen again. I want to see an organization that is world-class.
That was a report of my colleague Noble Crosby Annan. That's our first package for this morning. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyonam Haligah. Business News comes right up.
They're the best. Turn it up.
Are you ready?
Something big is happening in Accra. It's 3FM Afro Connect, a grand celebration of African unity, culture, and creativity in Ghana.
This September, Africa will unite to celebrate the beauty and cultural diversity of the continent right here in Accra, Ghana. The whole continent is gathering in one place at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park on Nkrumah Holiday, the 22nd of September 2025 from 9 a.m. Experience the rhythms, the art, the fashion,
and the unforgettable spirit of unity. Exhibitions, food and vendor markets, and of course the legendary 3FM Jollof Wars. This year, AfroConnect gets even bigger and better with the Osajafo Night Concert. Buy your tickets on *725 *2226#. That's *725 *2226# for 100 Ghana cedis. To be a vendor for this Pan-African celebration, call us on 0531 100 927 and 0532 200 927 to book your space.
Don't forget, it's happening at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, Accra, on the 22nd of September from 9 a.m.
Proudly sponsored by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
92.7 3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
It's now time for business news here on Sunrise 3FM 92.7. Coming up this morning, Energy Ministry urges calm as ECG seeks 225% tariff hike. Deputy Minister assures PRC will consider economic realities.
It doesn't necessarily mean that is what we are going with. So I would just address the public that they should just discount that it is a stakeholder and everybody has the opportunity to also air their views.
Also, the Ghana Gold Board CEO urges pension funds to invest in mining as small-scale exports hit $6.3 billion in 8 months.
Ghana's primary pension fund yields almost negative real returns due to investments in unproductive ventures. Foreign pension funds, however, invest profitably in mining.
Much later in this bulletin, Ghana's 24-hour Economy Secretariat announces the first $500 million tranche of a $4 billion total investment is set to be available by the end of the year.
It's also of an interest rate. The Bank of Ghana were pushing an ambition of 10%. Maybe, hopefully, we can get it within that range or lower than that.
We'll bring you details of our headline stories and other stories. Please stay with us. Now to our first story, the Deputy Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Richard Jan Mensah, is urging Ghanaians to disregard the Electricity Company of Ghana's proposal for a 225% increase in electricity distribution service charge, stressing that ECG has no mandate to determine tariffs. He said the Public Utility Regulatory Commission will independently announce a tariff structure that considers the prevailing economic conditions. ECG had earlier submitted a request to the PRLC seeking to raise its distribution service charge from 19 pesos per kilowatt per hour to 61 pesos over the next 4 years.
That is a proposal from ECG. ECG doesn't set tariff. Tariff is set by the PURC. So as part of the stakeholder engagement, ECG as a stakeholder have also come out with their proposal. So it doesn't necessarily mean that that is what we are going with. So I would just want to take this opportunity to address the public that they should just discount that it is a stakeholder and everybody has the opportunity to also air their views. So ECG has aired their views, but that is not what PRC would work with. It's PRC which sets tariff. And we know as part of the IMF conditionalities, Ghana will do a quarterly adjustment. In September, October, we do the MITO, the major tariff adjustment, which currently is getting closer. So that is why the PRC is engaging all sector players. And I believe that is why also ECG as a stakeholder also made mention of what they project. But that doesn't mean that's what we'll work with. With all things working out, at the end of the day, I am very hopeful that the PRC come out with a tariff that is reflective of the costs and then also considerate of the current economic situations as well.
Deputy Minister of Energy and Green Transition, Richard Jan Mensah there. Meanwhile, government says it has committed $100 million to extend electricity to some 150 islands and lakeside communities in accelerating Ghana's energy transition agenda by expanding renewable energy solutions to undeserved communities. The Energy Minister, John Abdullahi Junapo, whose speech was delivered on behalf of his deputy minister, disclosed this at a media launch and official opening of the nominations of the 9th Ghana Energy Awards in Accra.
The deputy minister, Richard Jan Mensah, highlighted that Ghana's rural electrification drive has yielded results, with mini grids commissioned in some communities, supplying clean energy to over 3,700 residents in Adam municipality.
Feasibility studies have also been completed for 125 island and lakeside communities in the Afram Plains area, with a planned investment of over $100 million to extend electricity to some of our most remote populations.
The minister also reaffirmed government's commitment to green public infrastructure through its flagship Government Goals Solar project.
We have embarked on an ambitious green transition agenda. Over 200 megawatts of solar power projects are currently being rolled out across the country, including a 25 megawatt floating solar plant at the Bui Hydro Station.
Organizers of the Ghana Energy Awards say this year's event will spotlight outstanding contributions to Ghana's energy transition. Henry Taino is Chief Executive of Energy Media Group.
A transparent, fair, and robust competitive process remains essential to our mission. In this spirit, we are proud to announce a new and important endorsement from Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, COMAC. This partnership will further enrich our engagement and deepen our impact across the sector.
The upcoming Ghana Energy Awards is themed repositioning the energy sector as a pillar of national development.
Now, to some other stories, the Chief Executive of the Ghana Gold Board, Sami Jemfi, has called on local pension fund managers to channel investment into the mining sector, mirroring the approach taken by international institutions. Now, speaking at the 2025 Mining and Minerals Commission, Sami Jemfi emphasized the need for a comprehensive review of Ghana's pension fund management, arguing that strategic investment in mining could serve as a hedge against inflation and enhance long-term returns.
Let me cite this example for us to ponder over. As you may be aware, Ghana's primary pension fund yields almost negative real returns due to investments in unproductive ventures. Foreign pension funds, however, invest profitably in mining. Why not reorient our pension strategy as a country toward gold, a time-tested asset and a better hedge against inflation? Why can't we establish locally managed and globally viable equity and debt funds to catalyze mining investments? Before I conclude, let me touch on the most critical issue of value addition to Ghana's minerals wealth.
That was the CEO of the Ghana Gold Board, Sami Jemfi. Now, before we go, let's take a look at how the cedi is faring against major trading currencies and how some key commodities are also faring on the global markets.
Interbank Foreign Exchange Market, the dollar is selling at 12 cedis, 11 pesos. It gained 5 pesos. The British pound is selling at 16 cedis, 38 pesos. It gained 14 pesos. The euro is selling at 14 cedis, 19 pesos. It also gained 2 pesos. However, be guided that these figures could be higher at a forex bureau near you. On the global commodities markets, Brent crude is trading at $66.47 per barrel. Gold is trading at $3,635 per ounce, down by $49. Cocoa is trading at $7,395 per ton, up by $160.
That was an update from the Forex and commodities markets. That will be all for business news here on Sunrise 3FM 92.7. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyonam Haligah. Sunrise continues.